Hello and welcome everyone. I posted this card the other day and it is made with a background on Whisper white cardstock, but it's kind of hard to tell because I sponged in all the colors. But I'm going to show you how I did that. Now I used a mat of Whisper white that measures 3 3/4 by 5, and I just put that down on a piece of scrap paper. To get the circle, I masked the moon. This is the next to the largest circle, layering circle framelit. I just put it on a piece of crushed curry, but I used it the other day so you can see it's well used. I put a piece of double-sided tape on it, but then I kept on putting my fingers on it to make it less sticky so that it wouldn't damage my piece of Whisper white. Now I put it on the cardstock just about where I wanted it on the Whisper white layer, and then I started using a blender brush. Now I've seen these makeup blender brushes on YouTube and on Pinterest, and I thought I'd give them a try. I got mine on Amazon. I got a set of 10 for $15. And of course there's no shipping if you're Prime, but they're real soft brushes and they blend very nicely. So I used several colors to do my background. I started with the lightest, being Pool Party, then went on to Coastal Cabana, Highland Heather, Gorgeous Grape, Night of Navy. And then for the moon part, I just, after I removed the mask here, I went back over the moon part with a little bit of Pool Party. And then there's just a touch of our Delicata Silver. And this is Silvery Shimmer. And I just used a little tiny brush to do this, but it kind of left brush marks on there, so I'm not sure if I'll use it with this little tiny brush again. But at the very end, I splattered some of our Wink of Stella on there. So let me show you how I got this effect, starting with the lightest color always. And I just washed my brush using my Stampin' Scrub, the old-fashioned scrubber that comes with, you know, we still have it. And it cleaned off the brush beautifully. And I just used it until the color quit coming off the brush, and it seems to have done its job. Because I used this for the first 2 colors, and it seemed to do quite nicely. Now, all I did was kind of pounce my brush into the ink pad, and then starting on a piece of paper, then I started on the mask part and went out because I didn't want very much color of this, the first one on there, the Pool Party. And you can always add more to it, but you can never take it off, so that's why I didn't use very much. And you can blend it more carefully than I'm doing right now. I'm just showing you for the video purpose how I made this background. If you keep on working with it, these brushes blend quite nicely. Now I got a little heavy-handed on that left-hand side, but I think it'll be okay. The moonlight and the sunlight never act the same on both sides with a shadow anyway, but you can see where I got a bunch more color here on this left hand side than I did on the right. Okay, I'm done with my Pool Party. I finished that portion, so I'm just going to set it aside because I'm going to do the moon with that after a while, and I'm going to go on to my Coastal Cabana, which is a little bit darker color. But first, I'm going to rub my brush, make sure I get all that color off so that I don't mess up my ink pad. Then I'm just going to do the same thing. You always want to start off the paper though, So either start on the mask or start on the scrap paper, because you don't want too much on your project. And I'm just going where that, just outside the mark, kind of doing circular motions outside of the pool party mark. And I'm making this one much darker than I made the one in my original creation, but I really think it'll be okay. And for some reason I am really heavy-handed on the left, but no worries, we'll see what we can do with it. And keep on blending it. Of course, I'm doing a kind of a fast job of this, so that makes a difference as well. Okay, I am finished with the Coastal Cabana, and I won't be using that anymore. So that and the brush will go back over here next to the pool party, because I'm just going to use just a hair of the pool party to do the moon. Now I could take the time and clean this brush, which I might do before I dip it back into the pool party. Okay, next I have Highland Heather, and I used a different brush for that. There we go. Highland Heather is a nice kind of lavender, and I used a bigger blending brush for that, and went into the Bermuda Bay quite a bit with that color also. Now, if you don't have blending brushes, you can certainly use some of our either sponge daubers or sponges, Stampin' sponges. Those would work nicely. I liked these because they gave a little bit different effect. And you can see how each one's going to be quite different. So you just build on the color as you go. And I'm not going to put a cat on this one. I have something else in mind. So when I post it in a couple of days, you're going to be surprised at what's walking across the path of this moon. We've had quite a bright moon going on this past weekend with the harvest moon and Friday the 13th, and that's why I made the card. So it was kind of fun. But just add color. As you go along. And this is going to be a real bright moon. Alrighty, and then I used the same brush for the next color because it's in the same color family, and that is Gorgeous Grape. I'm finished with the Highland Heather, so I'll put that away. Always go from darkest to lightest. And the next color is Gorgeous Grape. And that is what gave it this nice midnight color on the card base. But you can use this background for sunshines, reflections off of water, moonlight, anything. Now for the Gorgeous Grape, I started on the paper and came forward because I wanted to make sure that I left some around the moon itself for the reflection. And it's already changing that heavy-handed left-hand side to something much nicer. And add it as you go. Just build on it. Build and build. You can go as far in as you'd like. And then I went ahead and added it to the bottom because the bottom is going to be kind of the base. The bottom part could be land. Not sure what I'm going to do with this one yet. But I do know what I'm going to add to it to surprise you. But start from the outside and just go in. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to come back to this color, so I am leaving my brush the way it is. I'm coming back to Gorgeous Grape. So I'll just set that right here. And the last color would be Night of Navy. And I can just add that Night of Navy over as much of it as I want. And I use this big brush for that. These are really nice soft brushes. I don't know that I've ever heard of anybody that really blends their makeup with them. But they would be real nice. Now in this one too, I came from the outside in and went in circular motions. And went right up against that moon. Outside in, circular motions. And it's beginning to look like a beautiful nighttime sky with lots of pretty colors in there. Right up against the edge there. And I want to tone down this heavy-handed left side a bit, so I'm going to go further in. They all come out differently, which is nice. But try it with anything that you have on hand. Sponges or daubers, or if you're wanting to try these blender brushes, they're quite popular right now for paper crafting. You're going to be surprised also by that Wink of Stella. I use Wink of Stella quite often because it's a really nice product to have on hand. I think I'm going to go circular around this moon just to make sure I tone it down as much as I'd like it to be. But like I said, don't be too heavy-handed because you can't take it off. And actually it might be pretty nice. Now I want to put more dark around the outside, so I'm going to come back with the Gorgeous Grape. But first I'm going to go around this moon and tone down that bit a bit. Okay, looks real nice in person. Very nice in person. Okay, I think that's enough Night of Navy. Then I come back with the Gorgeous Grape one last time just to touch up, like I added Gorgeous Grape heavily around the whole outside of that card layer. So I don't need to clean the brush. It's already been in this Gorgeous Grape. And I'm just going to go around the outside a bit. Coming from the outside and going in, coming in. just around the edge of the whole thing. And it's doing exactly what I'd like it to do. Just turn the cardstock as I go. I don't know, this moon that I've been working with looks pretty cool. I might use it for something. Okay, not too bad for my fingers either. A little bit of ink that I have to be careful that I don't smudge anything with. Okay, I think I'm fine with that. All right, now let's go back to the pool party after pulling the moon off carefully with that piece of double-sided tape that I made less sticky, and it did its job. It protected that area quite a bit. Now this one I want to make sure that I don't get much on at all. So after I tap it into my ink pad, I'm just going to make sure that I get most of it off, and then come around the moon with just a light shading. Oh, and it's doing perfect, just what I want it to do. Okay, just want to soften it just a hair. Okay, I'm happy with that. So the last thing I want to show you is adding just a hair of some dots of Wink of Stella. You can see them all over the moon and the top of the card. I'm going to try to leave mine just on the top part rather than getting it on this bottom part down here. So what I'll do is put it on an acrylic block. Just an acrylic block will do, or a piece of wax paper, or you could even put it on your scrap paper. And Wink of Stella is wet enough that you can squeeze out a couple of drops. And I got a big glob, but no worries. I'm going to keep this block so that I can use it again. So I'm just going to put this paper right about here so that I don't get any on the bottom. So you just pick up a bunch of that Wink of Stella and you hold it above your image and you give it a tap, and it splatters on your project. And I'm not going to add much more because it's looking really nice. So that can be our starry night, and I think I'm going to stop there. Now you need to let it dry just a little bit before you handle it. It's really quite pretty, so I can't wait to show you in a couple of days what I do with this background. But thanks for watching. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Thanks. Bye.